My beloved, do you think it's an accident that you are hearing my voice right now? No. Heaven planned this moment long before you took your first breath. This is one of the divine laws of the universe. Yes, this is the law of attraction. I was sent to remind you, nothing in your life happens by chance. Every step, every turn, every closed door, and every open one has led you here, to this exact moment. Before I reveal what heaven wants you to know, take a moment to like this video so this word can reach those who are searching for light. And then, receive this message with love. Type in the comments, I receive and accept it with love, and seal it with 9875. This is not just a gesture, it is a spiritual alignment. It keeps the divine law of giving and receiving in perfect balance. Heaven is watching who responds. You'll notice a super thanks button right below this video. And listen carefully, when you give $22 or more, you are not simply supporting a channel. You are planting a heavenly seed in the soil of your own future. Just as a farmer never plants without expecting a harvest, your gift will return to you multiplied. Archangel Michael declares, every divine seed will bear divine fruit. When you give, you're saying, God, I trust you. I believe your promises. I'm ready for the blessing you've prepared for me. And let me tell you, heaven remembers those moments of faith. Your name is written in the book of remembrance, and the harvest is already on its way. Now, step with me into the message heaven has been waiting to release into your life. Your current mental state is at a level that the majority of people will never be able to achieve. Not because they are not intelligent, but rather because they have never been presented with the same challenges that you have. Because you have become so exact and so untouchable from a strategic standpoint, those individuals who formerly plotted your ruin are now caught up in the very webs that they spun. Their imagined moments of retribution have been rendered meaningless due to the fact that you have transcended the need for any kind of personal vengeance. Your possessions are more valuable than a triumph. It is freedom of action. Instead of slowing you down, every plan that was intended to slow you down has become raw material for your next leap ahead. On the other hand, unseen forces have been quietly putting together the evidence of your ascent to power, organizing events in ways that your competitors cannot even begin to plan out. In spite of the fact that they misinterpreted your moves as being random, you have been moving in time with something much more significant. The creation of a design that works to your advantage without requiring authorization from you. There are entire groups of people who came to the conclusion that they had figured out who you are, only to later find that they had been chasing shadows. During the time that you have been learning to bend the horizon itself, they have been playing with laws that have been inscribed into the sand. They continue to employ strategies that are rooted in an antiquated society in which influence can be purchased, applause can be begged for, and scarcity forces everyone to compete for scraps. You have entered a system in which the currency is unwavering self-alignment, and everything is under your control. Moreover, each and every action you take causes the entire landscape beneath them to alter. Certain individuals have transformed their preoccupation into a ritual, dissecting pieces of your life as if they were archaeologists who were frantic to retrieve the artifact that had been lost. The rumors and symbols are gathered by them. Feeling confident that there is a master key that can open your rise to power. However, what they fail to see is that their pursuit has only served to strengthen you. Each and every covert attempt to corner you turned into pressure that, in turn, strengthened your resolve into something that cannot be broken. If you have been moved by the goodness of God, feel free to share your experience with others. Super click here. I am grateful to you. As a result, a donation of $20 or more to assist in the dissemination of His light. Because of your generosity, a wave of grace is created, which in turn blesses hearts and helps establish His kingdom. Allow the excess of His love to flow through you. When you suffered losses that were supposed to deplete your momentum, they instead served as a catalyst for your inner precision. Instances of failure that would have caused another person to sink in desperation became the spark that transformed the way you saw your own value. Disappointments in other individuals merely served to make clear the doorways that you would never again open. Improving your compassion to the point that it cannot be replicated by any form of manipulation whatsoever. There is an invisible building all around you right now that is so incredibly advanced that no enemy blueprint can map it. You are equipped with instincts that allow you to identify potential dangers before they materialize. The mere fact that you are present is enough to dismantle lies, rendering them appear vulnerable and frail. The real evolution of your species has been taking place in dimensions that they will never be able to reach, while they have been preoccupied with deciphering the noticeable. Their vision will never be able to enter the places that your mental reach currently encompasses. Because of the way in which your thoughts integrate, grow, and transform the landscape, their previous maps are rendered obsolete. The depth of your emotional presence is not something that can be measured or mapped out. People who are still operating on surface reasoning may find it strange to respond to situations in ways that are foreign to them. When it comes to your spiritual development, you have reached a level where the air itself is resistant to their interference. They throw their energy skyward, not realizing that they will be extinguished long before they reach where you are standing. They have made an effort to encapsulate you in a narrative that is suitable for their security zone, something that they can control, label, or disregard. However, every single story that they have constructed has started to fall apart under the weight of evidence that cannot be refuted. Individuals who possess genuine discernment are able to see through the distracting noise and see what has been present from the beginning. One that is founded on the truth rather than on embellishment. Allow your love to shine through if your heart is filled to the brim with the blessings of God. If you would want to plant the seeds of faith that will touch the lives of countless people, please click the super thank you button and donate at least $40. Your generosity is a reflection of His many blessings. Being a vessel for His grace will allow you to witness the expansion of His kingdom through you. Attempts to portray you as manufactured are nothing more than a manifestation of their own lack of comprehension. Due to the fact that it is not a product of performance, what you radiate cannot be reproduced. It is the result of the alignment process. You operate from a supply that never runs dry, which makes their replication appear weak and transient. While others are frantically trying to fake relevance, you go from a source that never runs out. It is not because of anything you have done to win them over that the circles that contain actual power have begun to draw closer to you. Rather, it is because they are able to sense the firmness in your foundation. Those who can make a difference are not persuaded by rumors. It is the outcomes, the consistency, and the quiet authority that follows someone who has been through a storm and emerged unscathed that serve as their guiding principles. Every attempt that was unsuccessful in tarnishing your reputation has just served to further polish it. Every rumor that was intended to undermine your influence has, instead, served to amplify the disparity between you and others who are clinging to false narratives. In their attempt to conceal your brightness, they have made it hard for you to take note of it. To the extent that they continue to propagate their distortions, their motivations will become more accessible. The fact that their techniques are ineffective is not the only problem. The reason for this is that the environment in which you move does not let their ways to function properly. With the frequency that you are operating in, dishonesty is suffocating as soon as it arrives. The fact that your development was never about proving them wrong is something that they are unable to accept. Becoming the version of oneself that no outside influence could ever rewrite was the goal of this endeavor. And now, regardless of how much they wish otherwise, they are stuck staring at something that they are unable to quantify, identify, or reach to any degree. When it comes to prosperity, your relationship has evolved into a rhythm that very few people can understand. As if it were being drawn toward you by an unseen stream, wealth is now flowing toward you, finding ways to get over every obstacle that has been set in its road. In places where others perceive dead ends, openings develop. Also, the timing is so accurate that it defies any attempt at rational explanation. The ideas that you have lived by now produce results that are too tangible to ignore, but in the past you would have dismissed them as fiction. The alterations that are taking place are not solely concerned with numbers or goods. Access is the focus of these. Doors that were once protected by conditions that were impossible to fulfill now appear to recognize your presence as the only key they require. To the point where it appears as though the environment itself has made the decision to collaborate with your aims. Paths that used to require an unending amount of proof are clearing themselves before you even arrive. There is now access to environments that were previously considered to be out of reach. Spaces and environments that appear to be far away, whether in terms of finances, geography, or energy, are now within physical reach. And when these opportunities present themselves, they do so without any effort on your part, coming into perfect alignment with your preparedness to take advantage of them. The timing of these upgrades appears to have been almost carefully planned out. The appropriate locations, the appropriate layouts, and the appropriate energies, arriving not in a flurry of activity but rather in a natural progression that demonstrates that you are precisely where you are supposed to be. The action is not a compulsion. It's a smooth transition into a reality that seems to have been constructed specifically for you. The same fact is reflected in every change that occurs in your relationships and in the environment around you. You have raised the bar for what you are willing to tolerate, and the universe has changed to accommodate your new standards. You are not simply compatible with the people and places that are currently in your life. Rather than being characterized by survival, they are catalysts that shape a chapter that is defined by expansion. Opportunities that you formerly believed were out of your reach are suddenly coming to you without having to put up any fight. The jobs, projects, and collaborations that appear to be unattainable are suddenly becoming accessible, as if the locks had never been there in the first place. The skills that you honed during times of relative calm, when there were fewer people around to observe, are now precisely what the situation requires. The process of attracting notice from areas that previously missed you. The recognition that you receive is not a guarantee for the future, rather, it is a confirmation of the foundation that you have already established. Press like, type amen in the comments, and let your faith echo through holy voices. It is not only the work that is changing, rather, it is the manner in which the work finds you. Conversations that you had a very long time ago come back to you with extraordinary potential. Individuals from your past who were once considered to be distant acquaintances are now making their way back to you with offers and introductions that are exactly in line with where you are at the moment. You used to approach industries from the outside, but now they are welcoming you in and treating your presence as if it were completely necessary. At the same time, the emotional landscape of family life is undergoing a process of rewriting. Either the cycles that kept certain relationships trapped in tension are disintegrating, or they are completely withdrawing themselves from your place where they were previously present. Interactions that used to drain you are now either developing into mutual respect or beginning to fade into quiet. You have become the unchanging member of a family that is constantly shifting. Someone whose clarity is the defining characteristic of each and every action. Your presence would serve as the bridge in situations when harmony is feasible. The presence of your limits makes it abundantly evident that access to your energy is a privilege and not a right when it is not present. The weight of hereditary dysfunction is released from its hold in both of these situations. Sequences that appear to be older than you. The narrative is no longer being dictated by the habits, conflicts, and roles that have been handed down from generation to generation. The linkages that many people believed could not be severed have been broken as a result of your conscious actions. There is a lighter environment, and even those individuals who utilize to oppose your development are now able to perceive the difference. The internal environment has undergone a more profound change. It is no longer necessary to defend yourself, since the voice that used to question your every move has been replaced by a peaceful certainty that does not require any defense. These assurances are not loud or pushy in any way. This is a simple fact. In the past, decisions that were weighed down by uncertainty are now being directed by an inner pull that almost never fails to hit the mark. It is no longer necessary for you to seek confirmation from sources that are unable to perceive you clearly. You are now putting the effort that you used to put into attempting to prove yourself into something that is actually important. Because of this transformation, it is now much simpler to identify when an opportunity is well aligned and when it is only a distraction that is disguised as potential. Every aspect of your life, including your professional life, your personal connections, and even your internal monologue, will function differently as you move forward. You are no longer operating from a position of constraint or uncertainty in your navigation. You are constructing from a place of stability, from clarity, and from a version of yourself that is aware of the precise reason why every door that opens right now is exactly when it should be. Those individuals who have been working around the clock to undermine you are beginning to feel the pressure that is coming closer. Their preoccupation has evolved into apprehension, and it is not because of anything you have done directly, rather, it is because the opportunity to inflict you harm is no longer available. Considering that the defenses that surround you are so exact and unwavering, even the act of entertaining hazardous thoughts seems to have ripple effects that they are unable to ignore. This instantaneous balancing act between cause and effect has never been seen before. They are also gaining an understanding that certain energy return more quickly than they are given out. It has become very evident that anything that goes against you also moves against the exact order that is currently supporting you. Whenever they make an effort to meddle, they are met by resistance that seems to be much greater than anything they can control. They are coming to the realization that there is a cost associated with targeting someone who operates in accordance with a higher design, and that the payment is collected regardless of whether or not the individual is prepared to pay it. Your own life, on the other hand, is blooming into joy without any reservations. Your reluctance to take pleasure in what you've created has completely vanished. You no longer have the feeling that you have to suppress your joy in order to make other people feel more comfortable. Happiness is now a component of your work. In and of itself, a message that demonstrates what is feasible when an individual refuses to live below their own potential or potential. The ability to openly celebrate is a form of permission that creates the opportunity for others to do the same. You are sending a message to others who are watching that it is okay to shine, and that they do not have to hide their true selves in order to avoid feeling anger. You become a live invitation for others to soar into their own successes when you choose joy despite the fact that you may feel guilty about it. At this point in your life, you are not simply successful in accomplishing a goal. The inevitability of your complete existence is the focus of this topic. There has been an excessive amount of effort invested in your development, and you should not be content with anything less than full expression. You are now able to perceive patterns with such precision that there is no place for deception to conceal itself. You have the ability to anticipate the course that events will take before they begin. Being able to make decisions with a level of clarity that appears to be unachievable from the outside. Your long-term strategic vision has developed into something that they are unable to compete with. It feels like you are playing an entirely different game today, one in which you are shaping the board itself, and the same talent that used to keep you a few steps ahead of the competition. The fact that they attempted to imitate your gestures just serves to emphasize the gap that exists between superficial imitation and actual immersion. The intellect that you have developed is not merely acute. It possesses multiple dimensions. During the time that they are concentrating on matching what they can see, you are working through levels that they are fully unaware even exist. Each and every choice you make will weave into a web of outcomes that they are unable to detect or anticipate occurring. They are left with the task of pursuing the echoes of something that they are unable to possess in the end. One is able to imitate style. It is possible to speculate about the timing, but the essence, the source of your brilliance, will stay undiscovered and rooted in a location that they will never be able to access. That is the realm in which your true advantage resides. Additionally, this is the reason why their search would continually lead them in circles. As a result of your redefining of what you will and will not accept, the flow of wealth has distinct characteristics now. You have created an opening in which resources have no choice but to collect, since you have shown that you are unwilling to remain in spaces that do not value you. What you are experiencing right now is not a coincidence. Having a clear understanding of your own worth is what draws it in. Opportunities are not being pursued by you. It will eventually make its way to you. Your base is strengthened by multiple levels of assistance, which the majority of people would consider to be unachievable. Individuals who have gone before you are a source of strength. Insight is obtained from sources that have been waiting for the appropriate time to direct you in the proper direction. You are surrounded by protective forces that are so precise that any harm that threatens you will have nowhere to land. This transforms every attempt that is made against you into another surge of momentum. You've moved into a space where none of that applies, but they continue to recycle the same tired methods that are founded on fear, lack, and the desire for acceptance from individuals outside of your organization. They are still playing a game that you have long since abandoned, and you are perplexed as to why their strategies are unsuccessful. As a result of their incapacity to adjust, they are gradually becoming more and more desperate. There will not be a sudden and dramatic tsunami of vindication coming your way. Continually, it is revealing itself to everybody. Another layer of the truth about who you truly are is revealed to you every 24 hours later. It is becoming increasingly clear to those who opposed you that they were unable to compete with you from the very beginning. Moreover, those who had previously misjudged you are now aware that the things they had access to in the past were never typical. You were honing something vital with each and every adversity that you went through. The removal of what could not remain was the result of every act of betrayal. Every defeat was a deliberate attempt to make room for something that is more in alignment. Carrying a light that they were unable to extinguish, regardless of how hard they tried, you have moved on from the stage of preparation and into the stage of full operation. They are unable to see the realms in which the verdict has already been handed out. The decisions that were made there are being carried out here without any effort on your part. There was nothing more to the so-called setbacks than the scaffolding that was used to construct your current stability. It was precisely the resistance that you encountered that was responsible for molding your preparation. The results are now able to speak for themselves. As you stand here, you are witnessing a reality that demonstrates that the timing was never about delay. Alignment was the topic at hand. Your creations are only able to exist at this moment. In addition, each and every step of your journey was bringing you to this very moment. They are forced to observe a reality that they are unable to contest. Your rise was not due to luck. It wasn't chance at all. On top of that, it was not dependent on them. It was simply unavoidable. Not only that, but the forces that made it possible are still working in your favor. Their obsession with you has turned into a trap that they are unable to escape from. In proportion to the extent to which they attempted to dismantle you, your change became more complete. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also, Matthew 6 verse 21. Let your heart be in holy voices. All of the schemes and attempts that were made to undermine you ultimately ended up strengthening the very structure that they had intended to demolish. The things that they envisioned as their moment of success turned out to be the exact sequence that expedited your journey to prominence. The animosity they showed was transformed into strength, the envy they showed into clarity, and the sabotage they committed into the raw material for your resilience. The frameworks that they have relied on are no longer able to accommodate your way of thinking. The usual patterns that they used to anticipate you on a regular basis have vanished, and in their stead comes an agility that they are unable to quantify. Each and every time they make an effort to challenge you, they come up against a mind that reroutes their own strategies back toward them with such accuracy that it seems to be taking place automatically. At this point, you are able to incorporate meaning into your relationships in a manner that is beyond their grasp. Conversations carry undercurrents, which are messages and meanings that become apparent only after you have moved on from the interaction. They are unable to track these signals and implications. You have already transitioned into a completely different layer by the time they begin putting together the elements of one layer. Due to the fact that you are able to observe the setup before the action is ever completed, their previous playbook has lost its effectiveness. You are able to recognize a repeated strategy the instant it is formed, and your replies can eliminate the influence of the strategy while revealing the objective that lies behind it. Something that used to take you by surprise now seems nearly foreseeable, and it no longer poses any genuine danger to you. You have attained a level of capability that they did not believe was achievable in terms of your ability to take in and process complicated information. Your conclusions are consistent, leaving little space for uncertainty, and you combine ideas from different domains that are assumed to be unconnected to one another. The person they remember has vanished, and in their place is someone who is functioning from a mental architecture to which they do not have access. You are able to read the truth that lies underlying every gesture and word thanks to your emotional awareness, which operates like a high-resolution scan. You have the ability to recognize what is not being communicated, to determine the reason behind the mask, and to get a sense of the hesitancy that indicates an unspoken dread. Even the most delicate of clues are able to be understood just as clearly as if they were spoken out loud. They repeatedly prepare themselves for a counterattack, but it never materializes in the way that they anticipate. You have gone so far beyond their comprehension of retaliation that their attempts to provoke it have reached a point where they are no longer successful. They continue to get ready for a fight that never starts, completely oblivious to the fact that you have already left the stadium totally. When all is said and done, they are forced to face the fact that they are unable to communicate with you. The reason you have extended into a realm where their tools, games, and even their fundamental concept of conflict no longer apply is not because you have hidden, but rather because you have moved into that area. As they continue to exhaust themselves by engaging in shadow boxing with illusions, you continue to rise without being affected. The force that they are unable to circumvent is your ability to maintain composure under pressure. Whatever the provocation may be, you will not allow yourself to be sucked into their pandemonium. This self-control will deconstruct their plans more successfully than any possibility of confrontation could ever hope to do. The silence that you maintain is not a sign of weakness. They are in a deliberate position of control, and as a result, they are constantly searching for a response that they will never receive. During the time that they were spending their time analyzing you, your insatiable curiosity only served to strengthen your position. Every new ability, every new topic of study, and every mental upgrade increases the gap between your ever-evolving perspective and their unchanging way of thinking. They believe that you are involved in covert alliances. It is even more uncomfortable to know the reality. You have acquired the ability to function from a location that others are unable to even conceive of. The purposeful gaps that you make in your speech are a perfect fit for the precision of your discourse. When you choose words that advance your goals on several fronts while simultaneously demolishing interference without anybody recognizing it until the outcome is already set in stone. You have the ability to reveal only fragments at precisely the correct time, so maintaining an unpredictable position while simultaneously influencing events in your advantage. What they used to anger you in the past is now the gasoline that drives your redirection. A living record of how people reveal themselves when they are under pressure is created by the difficulties that you have encountered. With the help of this library on human behavior, you are able to deflect their manipulations with minimal effort, thereby transforming every attempted trap into a stepping stone. Your analytical depth exposes the trickery that they use to conceal their complexity. The substance of a problem may be extracted in a matter of seconds, flawed logic can be dismantled, and manipulative framing can be removed until just the truth is left. They are able to be dismantled into simple realities that they are unable to dispute when they attempt to conceal themselves behind complicated superstructure. In order to overcome every obstacle you encounter, you must attack it from a variety of perspectives, including spiritual, psychological, tactical, and practical. Not only do your remedies address the current problem, but they also subtly alter the underlying pattern that was responsible for its creation. The things that you construct are long-lasting because they answer more problems than what is immediately apparent. The capacity you have to read what is not seen has developed into something that is very close to predictive. Because you are able to recognize signals well in advance of their actual manifestation, you deprive your adversaries of the element of surprise. They are constantly surprised to find that you have already shifted into a position that negates their advantage, even when they believe they have successfully caught you off guard. This is where the story comes to a close, with their fixation and your climb to prominence. Every time someone attempted to analyze your procedures, it added another layer to your rise to power. The act of retaliation was not your response to the animosity. You responded to it by expanding, and in doing so, you withdrew yourself from the very battlefield that they needed to feel relevant in order to experience. The absence of that achievement is the most decisive win of all. Beloved chosen one, if this message touched your spirit, remember, nothing you heard today was by accident. Heaven makes no mistakes. Your journey matters, your voice matters, and your light is needed in this world. Before you go, take a moment to like this video so that the message can reach more souls. Share it with someone who needs hope today. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to Holy Voices so we can walk this divine path together. Leave your thoughts in the comments. I read every one, and I pray over them. Until next time, stay strong, stay faithful, and remember, the one who called you is faithful, and he will do it. 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 24.